phone or computer on mute so there is no background noise. So probably that would be better. So yeah, so let's get started. So thank you so much, Claire, for your ask about me providing a presentation. I know it was quite last minute, but it was my pleasure to put that together to make some research and just to wrap my head around topics that I really value. So today the presentation will be about the benefits of staying active. As Claire mentioned, so my name is Julie. I am trained as an occupational therapist. My main experience was in mental health, and I recently had a position with the Canadian Cancer Society as the manager for prevention and support services. So if you have any question during the presentation, just let me know. You can always unmute yourself and ask your question. That would be my pleasure to answer. But definitely at the end, I would be open to answer any of the questions that you have or comments. So, so let's get started. So the way I decided to make my presentation was about all the benefits that staying active can provide us, but in an OT lens. So with my occupational therapy lens. So just to give you a better understanding about what is occupational therapy, I described in my first slide the definition of what is occupational therapy from the New Brunswick Association of Occupational Therapists. So OT believes that occupation, which means activities, describe who you are and how you feel about yourself. So I felt it was really related with the topic today. So if you're unable to do the things you want or need to do to live and enjoy your life, your general well-being may be affected. So OT helps to solve the problems that interfere with your ability to do the things that are important to you, and it can also prevent a problem or minimize its effects. And the way I decided to bring all the benefits that being active can occur is to show you that model that we use in occupational therapy, which is the Canadian model of occupation performance and engagement. So you can see that there is different levels in that models, which describe all the person dimension, all the occupations that you can participate in within your own environment. So there is different layers that are all interconnected together. And you can see that the OT domain is really broad. So we can touch different aspects of the person, the occupation in the environment. And what I would like to really showcase out of that model is the person part. So the triangle in yellow, which is all the person domains that we are all having within ourselves. So you can see that there is 3 different components and the one in the middle that I will outline more in details here. I'm just gonna grab a sip of water. So if we go back with the triangle in yellow, and we break down all the person domains that we have as a being. So we have the physical self, the cognitive self, the affective self, which is mostly about the psychosocial part, so the emotional piece, and also the spirituality, which is in the center of the model that I just showed you. So in speaking about all those domains of the person, we can really see that OT really focus on holistic health, which means that we are looking into all the phases of a person to really address health benefits and health prevention that we can assist clients and people with. So what I would like to do, and to really break down all the benefits that being active can bring us, I've decided to break down all those domains and show you what are all the benefits that we can have from being active. So let's start with the physical benefits that we can have by being active. So some of you probably are already aware of some of the benefits that being active can give us, but sometimes we just need a little bit of reminder and just like a little bit of a little push to kind of, oh yeah, that's true. That's why I do that. That's why it's so important. So and sometimes we just kind of forget, and we are in our own day-to-day living, and we just put that on the side. But when we remind ourselves of all the benefits, it can be encouraging. So if we take just the physical part of the person and see what are all the benefits that being active can have on us. So first, it can prevent weight gain and increase our overall fitness. It can also help prevent and help with some disease. So by helping your heartbeat and your blood flow more easily into all your organs, it brings all the oxygen or nutrition that your body and organs need, which can help with prevent some of the disease, and also some healing that can happen to that at that point. It also helps reduce inflammation, which we know that inflammation can be sometimes the cause of different diseases. So by engaging in some physical activities, it can help to decrease that inflammation in our body. It also helps to boost our immune system, which at this time of the year with the pandemic and COVID-19, it's really important to have our immune system upbeat, and that we make some effort to kind of increase that immune system response. And here, all the physical stuff that we probably think about and we probably know about: improve our balance, coordination, flexibility, strength for our muscles, our bones, to help with some power, our agility, mobility, cardiovascular health, and also our endurance. So there's a lot of physical benefits of doing physical activities. And also those last two benefits, probably it can be some new topics for you. So it can be beneficial for your vestibular system and also your proprioceptive systems. So what is the difference between the two and what it is? So the vestibular system is really your spatial awareness. So your ability to be aware of your body within the space. So what does that mean is that, let's take by example, if you're about to fall, so your vestibular system is within your ear. And so just by the shift that you're doing by almost falling, you can it can readjust yourself and having a reflex, so to stop yourself to protect yourself when you're falling. So that this is part of the vestibular system. And also the proprioceptive system is really your body awareness. So being engaged and active help increase your body awareness, which means, so you can do it if you want. If you close your eyes and you lift your arm over your head, I don't see my arm, but I can feel and I'm aware that my arm is over my head. So this is my proprioceptive system. So this is another beneficial things that being active can bring on your body. Now let's go into the second domain of the person dimension that I showed during in the model, which is the cognitive benefits of being active. A lot of times we think that being active only provides us with some physical benefits, but there is much more to it. So some of the cognitive benefits that can happen when you're being active, it can improve your sleep, either the way that you fall asleep, or also for you to stay asleep longer. It can also, the same way as the physical self, prevent and heal and help to heal some disease. If we think about dementia or Alzheimer's, it can also help with in those aspects. It can increase and help with all the executive functions, which is all the focus, your attention span, so being able to focus and concentrate longer. and being sharper, multitasking skills, and also your planning skills. Also helps with your memory, either short-term memory or long-term memories. Can also help to boost your decision-making skills. And it also increases your production of neurochemicals that promote brain cell repair. So we see that the cognitive self is really beneficial, benefits from being active also. Now let's move on to the affective benefits that we can have. So affective was the third domain in the person dimension. So just to get back to the definition of affective, is all the psychosocial and the emotional side of the person. So what being active can help with the affective domain, it can help reduce stress and anxiety. It boosts your energy and overall well-being, improve your mood as well. So there's secretion of different neurotransmitters that can help to improve your mood, helps overcome depression, lift confidence and self-esteem, can also improve social interaction with others. We know with the current situation, it can be harder to really connect with others, but there is different options that we can, like we're just doing right now with the Zoom meeting, we can still connect and social interact. So you can do the similar thing with for being active too. And it can also increase your motivation and goal settings, and it builds your emotional resilience. So resilience means that it's your ability to overcome challenges. So especially at this time, that's for sure an important thing to be able to build for ourselves, to build our emotional resilience. So because we are for sure dealing with a lot of challenges at this time, and so being active can assist you with that benefit. And the last domain of the person is the spiritual self, which is in the center of the triangle, the yellow triangle that we have, which means our heart center. So being engaged by engaging in some physical activities or has different benefits for that spiritual self. So what it does, it helps create a strong connection with nature, and also exploration. So being outside with nature, and as Claire mentioned, that eventually some of the Zoom talks could be nature and outside. You can also get some of that spiritual benefits at the same time by being engaged outside. Can also enhance a meditative state depending on which activities you are engaged in. Also help bring a sense of self, sense of meaning, purpose, and perspective towards yourself and others. Can help with mindfulness, so being in the present moment, being more self-aware, and understanding of yourself and actualization. Also help to increase your compassion to yourself and others. So just taking the first step to engage in an activity that you like shows that you have some compassion to yourself. You care about yourself, so you engage in something that is meaningful to you, and at the same time that reflects into others. And it also helps to with the growing wisdom, acceptance, and forgiveness. So this is all the benefits that I did bring out from all the person domains that we are focusing on in occupational therapy. And what I wanted to assist you with right now is to provide you with some ideas of activities that you can engage in, especially during this time of social distancing. I should say physical distancing, because we still want to create that social connection, but we need to stay a little bit physically far away. So what are the activities, some ideas that you can do to engage more and to be more active? So maybe try to be active with family and getting outdoors. Go outside with your family, play a game, play a soccer game, and that could be fun. Bring the fun into that activity. Using online fitness resources. So if you go on YouTube and you type your favorite activity, I'm pretty sure you can find a good resources that you can use. And the one I would like to share is for yoga. I don't know if you like yoga, but there is different good benefits about yoga, and it's called Yoga with Adriene. And it's really good. It's free, so you can have access to it anytime you wish to do some yoga. So I really recommend that one. And also taking some virtual class. So right now on Zoom, it's interesting. It's kind of what we can do, but we can also do that in terms of physical activity. So I'm also coaching gymnastics, and right now I'm offering my classes on Zoom. So I'm able to show, to be with my gymnasts and to engage in gymnastics with them virtually. Something else that we can think about is just doing calorie burning chores like laundry, cleaning your garage. So this is also part of being active, and you can receive those same benefits by engaging in those type of chores. Gardening, walking, biking, yoga, tai chi, qigong, dancing, breathing techniques, taking the stairs more often. So those are all activities that I can share with you. And just to continue on that, so just some tips and ideas to join maybe a weekday community running or walking group could be helpful to assist you engage. Go for a walk around the block after dinner, take some dance class, bike or walk to work every day, depending on where you're working, where you live. So rake the lawn and then offer to do the same for a neighbor. So being active and at the same time provide a service to someone else. Train for and participate in a run or a walk for charity. So by example, with the Canadian Cancer Society, there is Run for the Cure, Wonder Woman, Really for Life. Those are the things you can train for, and then you can benefit the charity after that. Take up a favorite sport again, or try a new sport. So those are all ideas for you. And now I wanted to present you the recommendations for being active from the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology. So those are the guidelines for adults aged from 18 to 64 years old. So overall, adults should accumulate at least 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity per week in bouts of 10 minutes or more. So now we don't speak anymore about 30 minutes per day or 60 minutes per day. It's a week, within a week. So this is all something you can add up into your day, into your week, for at the end of the week, if you can have at least 150 minutes per day. So I did make the calculation. So if you divide 150 per 7 days, that means about 22 minutes per day, if you're doing it consistently every day. And what is good about that is also the fact that you can have a little workout of 10 minutes and then another one like one in the morning, one in the afternoon. You add them up together and it still counts. So so those are the recommendations. And if you go into the moderate to vigorous intensity, what does that mean? So moderate means, in a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the more intense, that would be a 5 to 6 in terms of intensity, the moderate. But the vigorous intensity would be the 7 to 8 in terms of intensity from 1 to 10, 10 being the more intense. So that's the skill that they are using. What is also beneficial is to add some muscle and bone strengthening activities. So using major muscle groups at least twice per week. 2 days, yeah, 2 days per week. So this is all lifting some weights or using your body, putting some resistance on your body. Lifting, pushing, this is all those type of activities. And nowadays, with the gym not really being open and having access to some ways, there is different options that you can use at your home too. And just using your body sometimes, it provides that muscle and bone strengthening anyway. And the more daily you're engaged in physical activity, the more and greater benefits you can benefit from that. And the best available evidence now recommends that adults should accumulate no more than 7.5 to 9 hours of sedentary time per day, though less is better. So when we think about that, it can be shocking because we are working in front of our computer, and sometimes it's just hard to don't move and you just don't see time fly. But those are the recommendations from the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology. So just to keep that in mind as well. So sometimes it can be hard to start engaging and with the motivation. And so I did provided you with some tips to overcome barriers to engagement and to be active. So first tip that could be helpful is to plan and schedule it in your calendar. So consistency and routine is important. So in order to make it a habit, you need to be consistent and include it in your routine. So and then it becomes a habit, and it's automatic after that. Go outside. It's another thing that comes back often. And the other day I saw on Facebook, it says there was a meme or something. It says, if you're feeling sad, go outside. If you're feeling stressed, go outside. If you're tired, just go outside. So go outside can be the key. Also, stand up and stretch at least every hours. So like we just said, we are working in front of our computer now. We are sitting longer hours. So sometimes it can be hard to remind ourselves to stand up and stretch every hour. So something that can be helpful is to set reminders on your computer, on your telephone, so you can have a little alarm that tells you, okay, it's time that I stand up, I stretch, I move a little. So so at least every hours would be good, just to have your blood flow again and to increase your energy level. And it also helps with your focus, because when you're too long in front of your computer and you're trying to be productive, sometimes it's hard to stay focused. So just stretching a little bit every hours can help. Consider your interests. So some people sometimes are trying some physical activities or activities that they don't really like, and they think that that's the only answer. But there is so many different activities that you can try and engage in, and then you can see what you like, what you don't like. So really consider your interest in that and be creative. Like you can do some resistance training with using your laundry basket full of clothes and you lift it, or be creative, just move a little and you got it. Another thing is that have a just right challenge. Start and do some gradual engagement and put yourself some realistic goals. So what just right challenge means is that you don't want to have an activity that is too hard or too easy for you. So in order to maintain and keep your motivation, you need to have like that just right challenge for yourself, and it's really different for every person. So it's important that you really listen to yourself and you understand what is the just right challenge for you. Gradual engagement, that means if at this today that you're not really engaging into physical activity, don't go and put yourself too high at this time. Like, don't start with 60 minutes per day. So go gradual. Start maybe by 10 minutes, and then you increase the way that you're being active. So it's more realistic for you too. So sometimes we're setting ourselves some goals that are not really realistic, and we just become demotivated, and we give up. So we like to be able to be more gradual and to put some realistic goals for ourselves with the just right challenge. Another thing that is important is to always check with your healthcare team and with your doctor first if you're uncertain about some activity safety for your health condition. So depending on your health situation or health condition, it's also really important to always check with your healthcare team if you have some doubt about some safety for yourself and for your health. Respect ergonomic principle and energy conservation, which mean really respect your limits. So when we think about ergonomic principle, a big one that I think about is that when we are twisting and then try to lift something, it's always important that you have your legs facing where you want to lift something. So those are all ergonomic principle that when you engage in an activity that you consider and you think about to limit some blessure. Blessure, it's hurt, to not hurt yourself. So to prevent that. And then energy conservation, it come back to putting yourself some realistic goals. So respect your limits. If it's too much for you, like consider that too, and get back to what you're comfortable doing. Break down your workout into several 10-minute sessions. So like we said earlier, you can add up some 10 minutes during the day, and then at the end of the week, you can add all those 10 minutes together. And if you have your 150 minutes of physical activities, you're good. So you can break down those ones, and then gradually you can increase those 10 minutes. And another thing that we used to teach in motivational engagement is that sometimes you don't feel like doing nothing, you don't want to do anything, and it's hard to get going and to start engaging something. So there's a principle that we call the 5-minute law. And what it does, what it is that you're saying to yourself, okay, right now I don't really want to engage into anything. I don't want to do nothing, just want to sit down and do nothing. Okay, 5-minute law. I'll do it just for 5 minutes. That's it. Just for 5 minutes, I'll do it. After 5 minutes, I'm just gonna come back and sit down and do nothing. Okay, so then you go and you time yourself, you engage in something, and the research shows that oftentimes after 5 minutes, you're able to keep going. Your energy motion is in it, so you're okay, I'll keep going anyway, even after 5 minutes. But just give yourself that, if after 5 minutes I don't want to do it anymore, I'm just gonna do it anymore. But oftentimes you'll keep going anyway. So it's the 5-minute law. So it's helpful with motivation sometimes. Another principle is also remind yourself about your occupational balance. So balancing between engagement, physical activity, and also rest time. So that balance is really important. Sometimes we think about we need to be active and engaged oftentimes because being too much sedentary is not that good, but honestly, it's good to have that balance. You still need to rest, still need to have some rest time for yourself, to meditate, to just breathe and relax. And it's also important to have that occupational balance. Another thing that I can give you an advice on is to not exercise too close to bedtime. So give yourself at least 2 hours before going to bed. So try to have your exercise or your active activity at least 2 hours before your bedtime, so you'll have a better night's sleep, because other than that, you'll be really energized and you don't really want to sleep. So try to have it at least 2 hours before, especially if it's really aerobic and really high intensity. And give yourself positive reinforcement when you achieve your goals. It's good to be récompensé. So reinforce that. Give yourself, you did an achievement, so give yourself positive reinforcement. It can be something you have scheduled already. So if you engage in those activities, that would be my reinforcement. So give yourself and do something that you like after that. So it's really important too for motivation. I'm just gonna drink a sip of water now. Okay. So what I wanted to add at the end of this presentation is the link between being active and cancer too. So what I did bring out of that presentation is the benefits and also the recommendations that links being active and cancer. So what are the benefits from being active? So there is a lot. So it can help improve many of the common side effects of cancer treatment, like fatigue. Can also improve cancer prevention for different cancer diagnoses. And I have put the Canadian Cancer Society prevention page for you to have a look. There is plenty of resources and information in that page. It also helps improve survival rates in different cancer diagnoses. And exercising during and after cancer treatment improve fatigue, anxiety, depression, physical function, quality of life, and does not exacerbate lymphedema, which is another thing that is good to know. And what are the recommendations for being active in cancer? Excuse me. So cancer patients and survivors strive to complete a 30-minute session of aerobic and resistance exercise 3 times per week to achieve health benefits. So it's a little bit lower than what we just discussed, but it's also important to consider your health situation and also to discuss with your doctor and your healthcare team about what is appropriate for you at this time and to respect your limits and respect yourself. And it's also recommended that exercise is being part of a supportive care in cancer. So really, like I said earlier, the holistic part of a self really integrate different aspects of the health. So the holistic approach of it. So this is what the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology also recommend, and you have the link to go see those resources in there. And I'm going to share the presentation with Claire, so you'll be able to have access to the presentation after. So here is just a nice quote that I like about occupational therapy, is that OT practitioners ask what matters to you, not what's the matter with you. So depending on every person is different, everyone has their own story, has their own condition. So it's really not about what's the matter with you, but really what matters to you. So we want to focus on what are your interests, what is meaningful to you, and then there's always a solution to being active and engaged in what is important for you. So those are my references. Now it's time to chat, or if you have any questions, comments.
Julie, I definitely appreciated all of the aspects that you presented. You did a wraparound, hell of a good job going through all of it. But I especially like your use of what matters to you, and not, because this is empowerment of the person.
Exactly.
Wanting to make things better for And I appreciate the use of supportive care,
Mm-hmm.
which is the
Exactly.
new trend word now, which we really, really need to focus on. And I didn't pay you to say that, though.
No, no, it wasn't the research, Claire.
Yes, yes, I've done quite a bit of research recently, and this is where we're at now. It's
Mm-hmm.
what matters to the person, which is supportive care, which I just and I'll leave other ones make comments as well. But you've really covered the whole 4 bases, well, more than 4, but at least 4 bases of
Mm-hmm.
a good
Thank you.
game plan.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Any questions, comments? Oh,
This is Verna here. I think it's just to motivate yourself to get started.
Yeah, it's the motivation part, that's for sure. And that's why it's important to find something that you like, and that is not really, oh, I have to do that, but just it's being part of an activity that is good for you. And try maybe the law of 5 minutes, the 5 minutes law. Maybe it can be helpful for you. And then when you get started, oh, maybe I can do more than 5 minutes. And then, oh, you find yourself liking it, and then you want to have more. But definitely, it's a challenge to get started for sure. Yeah, and that's why starting gradually is also important. If you set yourself too much of a goal and it's not really realistic, good chances are that you want to give up too. So start gradually.
the 5 minute does as well, because you have a tendency of repeating it because it's sort of meets with your needs and all of that. If you do repeat it several times, you develop the habit.
Yeah,
And the habit, as we all know, if it's a good habit, that's great. Bad habit, it takes time to get rid of. But if it's a good habit, you want to keep it, and then you repeat it on, so you get the benefits of this good habit.
exactly.
Well, this is April
Yeah.
writing to us and saying thank